Throughout the country, urban rivers meander through our towns and cities. They provide places to explore, spaces to relax, and a valuable habitat for wildlife. Meet the thriving communities of wildlife and volunteers along one river, hidden in the borough of Kingston-upon-Thames. The Hogsmill.
The Hogsmill is a very special place. It's one of a very few chalk streams in the world, internationally rare. It provides a very special place for wildlife in the heart of a busy city.
Urban rivers like the Hogsmill are vital for our wildlife. They are corridors of green and blue that actually allow wildlife to move into parts of the city where you wouldn't normally find them.
Kingston wouldn't be here if the Hogsmill wasn't here. It's what drew people here originally. And now I find it so special because it is the place that is the most alive with wildlife in the whole of the borough.
During the summer months, the Hogsmill comes alive with movement and colour. Dragonflies and damselflies take to the wing, attracting mates and onlookers with their iridescent displays.
See, all the different groups like hawkers and skimmers, they're all named that way because of the way they fly. The males are the most colourful, so that's about attracting females.
Almost a quarter of the UK's dragonfly and damselfly species have been recorded along the Hogsmill, a good sign of river health.
We've got banded demoiselle, beautiful demoiselle, white-legged damselfly. These are species that will only thrive in water that's clean. The fact that there are hundreds of them here suggests that the water quality on the Hogsmill River is very good.
Local conservationist Elliot has a strategy to survey the more elusive species.
So we're just walking along, looking for areas to set up camera traps. It's so nice to be on parts of the river which people don't normally see. You could be anywhere in the world really, couldn't you, just walking up and down here. So this is also a great place to put up the camera trap. It's a bit open, shots over the river. Oh, the sound of a kingfisher. There he goes, kingfisher. So I'm setting up a camera trap to try and monitor wildlife. Camera traps are absolutely brilliant. They don't sleep like we need to sleep, they don't eat so they don't get grumpy, they don't smell or make a noise, and every time something moves past, they'll trigger and film a video. But here we're really looking for things like indicator species that give us a clear idea of how healthy the river is or unhealthy. So we've been seeing kingfishers go back and forth, which is great, and they're a good indicator species because it means there's enough fish in the river for them to hunt and feed their young, which is a really good sign. I get so excited when we check our camera traps because you never know what you might find. It's always a surprise.
While Elliot sets up more cameras, local ecologist Alison prepares for a night shift. A harp trap enables her to safely capture and survey the local bat population.
The Hogsmill is the route by which bats move along. They'll also use it for feeding because it generates a lot of insects. If we can crack on, because it's getting near sunset, I can see the sun is going down.
Under the cover of darkness, Elliot's cameras offer a secret window into the Hogsmill. While the cameras continue to record movement at ground level, Alison detects activity in the sky.
Well, we can hear the bats on the bat detectors so that we know they're here. We can see a lot of moths flying around, so we know there's plenty of food. So it shouldn't be too long, we hope, before we get one in the trap. This is the birthing period. The mothers will go out and feed for half an hour and then go back to the roost and feed their young milk. At the point at which the bat takes the prey, the echolocation speeds up and you get this little raspberry. So it's called the feeding buzz. So it just goes.
Success for Alison.
Big one.
Bats are agile, fast, and have big appetites. A single pipistrelle can eat 3,000 insects in one night. Alison has to work fast. Once weighed, measured and recorded, they're released back to their hunting ground. As a new day dawns, Elliot's cameras are triggered by morning activity. Beneath the surface, summer also marks the arrival of something even more elusive. Having already travelled 5,000 kilometres on oceanic currents, tenacious young European eels continue their epic migration upstream.
Eels are entirely at the mercy of the tide, so some of them will end up coming up the Thames estuary and up into the Hogsmill where we are here. The eel has a relatively easy journey in the ocean, but once they're in our rivers, the big problem are the barriers which they can't get over. They're not good swimmers, they can't leap like a salmon. The main conservation action that we can take in our rivers is to build these eel passes. The passes provide a little channel of water for the eel to crawl up into habitat upstream.
The eel passes are regularly checked by a team of volunteers.
Eels need to be monitored because they're critically endangered, and we want to find out whether the population's recovering. We can only do that if we know the numbers of young joining the adult population. So that's one of the main purposes of what the volunteers are doing here today. It's somehow good for us to get this access to nature in the city, and the eels are part of that picture, really. They're just an important, integral part of the community of animals that live in and around the Hogsmill.
Urban rivers and their surrounding green space are as fragile as they are important. At Berrylands Nature Reserve, an army of locals have rewilded one stretch of river.
We've had volunteers jumping in the river, they've been planting marginal aquatic plants, they've been putting in berms and deflectors, which is really important for river habitat. Without volunteers, this project would not have happened. They are the true driving force of what makes this place a success.
The newly restored Berrylands Nature Reserve is now a haven for wildlife.
We're already seeing new wildlife come and use the site. We've got new species of dragonflies, having kingfishers use the site more than they ever have done before.
The main focus is to improve the nature reserve, to make it a better space for our local wildlife, but also to get people involved, to show people what is on their doorstep.
With the support of volunteers, urban rivers can provide even greater habitat for wildlife, offering us precious breathing space in the hearts of our towns and cities.